One tag, 1 week, one shot to make it count. This is for the hunters who hit the road and get after it, no matter the odds. This is Drawn West. Welcome to another Drawn West episode. I'm your host, Brian Krebs. Today, we've got Perry Bowers and Dan Ellyson on the podcast from Bowtackle. I'm super excited for this because, like I was saying in the green room, to date, I've never seen anything like what you guys are working on with Bowtackle. And I wouldn't say even working on, launched. Like, it's up, it's running, it's live, it's out there for folks. And so we're going to do kind of a deep dive into Bowtackle and the story and how you guys are making things a lot simpler for anyone that shoots sticks and strings. And so I'm excited for today's podcast. Welcome to the show, folks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. So, real quick, let's just give like a quick overview of, Dan and Perry. Kind of just introduce yourselves, kind of talk about what brought you to Bowtackle, what brought you to hunting. Just give the listeners a chance to connect with each of your voices. Since we have multiple people on the podcast, I want to let people know who's talking.
Right. So I'm Dan Ellyson. What I've been doing for I'm not going to, I guess, 48 years old, and I've been doing archery since I was 13. Been running, managing, and part owner of A1 Archery in Hudson, Wisconsin since late 1999. So lots of years in the archery business. So that's my main gig. That's what I've been doing for decades now. And Bowtackle, I think, really, how we got there, trying different things. But in the archery industry, you're sitting with a lot of changing products that move, are outdated after a year or two, a lot of used products. Sometimes you make bad buys, or, you think something's going to go really well, but it doesn't. And you need an outlet to put that product. And, over the years, we've used, the Amazon, eBays of the world. And Bowtackle, well, let me just kind of step back, but, and then you had Facebook marketplaces, you had lots of different places to sell product. And eBay is a great place. It was secure. You had a lot of, you could move some product off of it, but the fees were absolutely killer to sell a bow. I mean, if it's quite often that you take a trade-in bow, you think you're getting a good price for somebody, and the next thing you know, you lost $100 on the deal.
Oh, wow,
and
yeah.
That's not good for business.
No.
In the long run. But you can see all these big marketplaces, eBay, Amazon, they kind of come up. And as time went on, you start getting niche marketplaces, and that's really what Bowtackle is, but with a little bit of a twist. Bowtackle is a platform designed for, and everything that will be done on Bowtackle will be for archery dealers, outdoor pro shops, fishing shops, anything with the outdoors. We're just not going to really dabble in guns. That's not where we want to be. And so if you want to sell on Bowtackle, you have to be a dealer. You can be a brick and click. You can be a brick. As far as what we're going to do is everything built in Bowtackle will be built around the dealer so that they can highlight their closeouts, their bow, their inventory, and in a two-way street. We're trying to give a place for a dealer to sell his stuff online and not pay 15 to 20% of the sale. Yeah. So he can make margin. And I know, some people might think that, listen, this is how the world works, right?
Right.
You want a nice pro shop in your community, they have to make some money to pay their people, to pay themselves. to pay the rent or own the mortgage on their building. So not only are we going to focus on, the online sales, but we're also going to focus on driving the traffic to their business.
Okay.
In my scenario with A1 Archery, we've sold quite a few bows and other accessories on Bowtackle, but about 40-50% of those sales are from people from 2 hours away that see our product and they come to our store.
Interesting.
And so you're trying to give the dealer, and keep, like I said, an outdoor dealer, anybody in the outdoor space can really get onto this platform. But you're trying to be well-rounded for them. I mean, I guess that's just kind of a quick overview.
Yeah. Awesome. So Perry, jumping over to your side of it, give yourself an introduction and kind of how you came to be a part of Bowtackle and a part of the archery world.
Well, I've been in the music industry in the Twin Cities for going on 30 years now. And about, 15 years ago, I picked up a bow and, I've started hunting whitetail, and it just created a whole new world for me and changed me. And in many ways, you know how it is.
Yep.
I was late in life to understand, or to start to understand hunting and what that is, and that thing that ignites inside of you, that ancient ancestral drive to provide and kill things. And this was, born in me. And along with that was, of course, a passion for purchasing bows, loving my bow, putting my bow next to my bed, and just looking at it and just being like, holy shit, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And my previous love when it came to physical things was guitars, right?
Okay.
I love guitars. I have, I don't know, maybe 13 guitars. For some people that's a lot. For some people that's not even getting started, but and plus, being in the rehearsal space and recording field and being in bands, you just acquire and want to sell equipment constantly, right? You get a guitar, you want to buy a new guitar, you sell the other guitar, right? And you have used inventory, right? So eBay was, of course, the go-to place. Again, just like it has been for archery and whatever, used camo or whatever that is, for a long time. And along came this platform called reverb.com. If you're not a musician, you probably haven't heard of it, but if you are a musician, you have heard of it, right?
Yeah.
And it just became the place where it just started. And I was a very early adopter on it. I saw that it was a platform that was based around musicians, that it was built by musicians. It was built by this guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he owned Chicago Music Exchange. Sort of like, he's like the Dan in our picture, because he had his own music shop, and he just started to, sell his own inventory, and then he started to allow other people to come in and start to sell. And their fee was less than Reverb. It was built by musicians. So I just started to move all my used equipment over to Reverb, right?
Yeah.
So then, and I was just a Reverb guy, I just completely abandoned eBay. eBay was not even, I wasn't even, why would you do eBay if you had Reverb, right? So once I started to buy bows, and I would buy a new bow every couple years, I'd be like, where am I going to sell my bow? You could trade it in with the shop, and that's cool. But you can, as everyone knows, if you have a place to sell it on your own, you can make another couple $100. eBay, maybe you can make a couple $100 if you don't do a trade in. And there was just nothing, there was just nothing. So, I just started to design, my idea was like, well, the outdoor industry needs a thing like this. It just needs to have, and it needs to have some, some style and some community, and to bring hunters together, because that's what Reverb was doing. I mean, Reverb has, I don't mean to talk about Reverb all the time, but it's like the vision, a little bit of what we want to do with Bowtackle and what we are doing. lot of famous musicians have their own stores. A lot of stores have their own stores within Reverb, which is what we're doing. We're taking, stores around the country and we're giving them their own store on our platform. Mostly, of course, to sell used and closeouts and deals and stuff. But as long as it's cool with the manufacturer, you can sell anything you want on Bowtackle, So anyway, that's my history, and that's kind of the origin story. And then, I brought sort of my vision to Dan, and Dan was like, well, I already had that vision. Basically, he already had a website, and we're like, well, let's do this together. And, and then of course we brought Josh in, who's the tech guy. He interfaces with the developers, and he has, he knows what, we can say something like, hey, can we do this? Can we, and he'll be like, yes or no, or that's going to cost too much money, or that, yes.
It's always yes, but here's the price tag, right?
Well, exactly.
How big is the rock?
Exactly. Yeah. So he really should be on this podcast too, but you got us for today. So, so that's, I guess I'll stop there.
That's awesome. So, what I'm realizing is I should have just done a little bit more research and been like, hey, Perry, you're in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Dan, you're in Hudson. I live in Forest Lake. We should have just done this in person.
Yeah.
What?
I'm actually just moved to Hudson. This is my new house. It's like getting painted right now. So I actually live in Hudson too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Just went across the border. Yeah. Not far at all. It's crazy how many people I actually find, you'd think Minnesota is just this, middle of nowhere kind of in the industry. So like Salt Lake City, obviously huge hub of Western hunting tech. Bozeman, huge hub of like Western hunting brands. And on the archery side, I feel like you get like Indiana, Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg area is a huge hub. And obviously there's a ton of stuff in Texas. Minnesota just seems like it kind of gets forgotten about. And then all of a sudden you like meet with people and you're like, oh, you live here? Oh, you live here? Like, oh, Dialed Archery, you guys are based in my hometown? Like, oh, this is all crazy. And so it is quite a close world when you really get into it. But so, yeah, we should have done this in person. And the next time we do something, we'll just do it out of the A1 archery shop for sure. But yeah, so I saw this and I was like, and it struck me at a moment, I think the stars just aligned. And so I just got Matthews, obviously the folks know, just partnered with the Drawn West podcast. And so they sent a lift over and we're doing a lift giveaway as well. And so I've got a Halon that I'm like, I don't know what to do with this thing. Right. The same thing for like what you talked about, Dan, throughout the years. I started with like an old PSE and just bare bone everything. Like, what's the cheapest sight I can get? What's the cheapest release I can get? What's the cheapest stabilizer? What's the cheapest quiver to get started? Right. I'm 12 years old. I got $280 to buy a used bow at the time back in, 2006. And it's like, what can I do? And I was like 57 cents short. The guy that owned the shop's like, don't worry about it, kid. Like, just go and shoot something with your bow. And then I got a Halon and it's like, okay, I want a nice bow. And then you get to the accessories and you're like, I think I want this. I want to go to a single pin slider that looks so much better than my 3-pin. But then you hunt with it and you get burned. You're like, oh, well, 1-pin might not be enough all the time. So then you go to a 3-pin slider and now you got an old housing to get rid of. And you kind of just assemble it. Well, now I've got this Halon that's totally tricked out. And I don't know. It's like, I'm not going to put those 10-year-old things on my new lift. The lift has all the bridge lock. Like, the partnership, I want to make sure we're using the stuff they designed this bow for. Right. So I got all new accessories for the new one. So it's like, well, what do I do with this old one? Like, it's ready to go for someone that wants to get into it and doesn't really want to spend a full, build on what today's prices are. Like, it's kind of expensive to dabble in archery at flagship and new accessory levels to decide if you are a bow hunter. I mean, you're going to write a $3,000-$4,000 check if you go across the board, flagship, sight, bow, everything. That's an expensive discernment to be like, is this my new thing? Like Perry, obviously, if you'd love it, it's like, great investment. It was a good choice. For everyone at Perry, though, there's probably someone else that's like did it, and now they've got a $4,000 bow they never touch.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously, it's it's always an interesting conversation. I mean, we sell thousands of bows a year, and yes, I mean it is expensive, but it's only expensive honestly if you want the best
Yeah.
that they're making. I mean,
And
just don't forget there's other products there that are less money that will do the job. But you don't, but it's
right.
the drive, it's your passion, it's what you feel you need. You need the best because it's what you do.
Yeah.
Most
And
bow
so,
hunters I know, that's all they do.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, I rifle hunt too because sometimes bow hunting
yeah.
is as truly as hard as they say. But so, and I think that brings up a good point. So, and maybe you have some really good experience on this, Dan. So you own a shop, you're in the shop every day. How often does someone walk through the door and they're like, man, I've been like thinking about getting a bow for a while now, or probably commonly like, hey, my dad's gonna let me get a bow finally because I quit growing. And they're like, we want something probably used, for whatever reason, my son's young, or like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be my thing. I just want to try it. And so you bring them over to the used rack, and every bow shop has a used rack, but it's like the back of your pantry of like what's there. Like, oh, sweet, there's still a bag of Doritos. Great, fine, that's exactly what I wanted. But a lot of times it's like, I don't really want the stale crackers, and that's already expired. You know what I mean? Like, there might not be a used bow that fits them. So then, how often does that person just end up with one of the new bows anyway because there wasn't something there?
Almost all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's well, the story that you just laid out happens every day
yeah,
here, and I would say the the used bow market is, your bow leaves. If you're going to upgrade every year, you're going to take a beating. If you're going to upgrade at 3 years or 4 years, it's not nearly as bad. It's no
right,
different than a used car market, right? I mean,
yeah,
um, so what I think what happens is once if I took a bow in on a trade, and let's say I take it for $300, right? I mean, it's got old accessories on it. I want to sell that bow for $400 or $450. So I need to make some money on it. All my profit is tied. That whole package that I just sold
right,
is tied up into that used bow. So I need to move that bow to make the profit off of the new bow purchase. Okay, so we can all agree that that is how it works. All your profit, most of
right.
it,
I mean,
is tied up into the used bow.
if you buy a guy's bow for $400, you're underwater on the flagship that you just sold him
By
until that sells.
$400. So
Yeah,
any money that was going to be made is
yeah.
tied up into that bow.
Right.
So
So
it's
the
to
guy's
my
like, oh, they sold me a new bow. They're making bank. It's like, actually, until the old bow sells, he hasn't made
I
anything.
didn't make anything. I actually financed your bow.
Right.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. It's probably the correct way to look at it, actually.
Yeah.
And so it's to my advantage to move that bow as fast as I can to get my money back. So my goal, my objective is to move that bow as fast as I can. And that's why I tell people when they come in and we're doing a trade, I'd be like, listen, if a guy walked in and gave me what I just gave you for that bow, I would probably take it because that's my profits locked into that bow.
Right.
Now, but unfortunately, what does happen is that, you know, most people when they come in, they're upgrading their bow, so that's what they're doing. When you come in and look at a used bow, then you start looking at it, go, okay, I got this bow that fits you. It's $500, but I can't tell you if that bow, how that bow is treated. I can maybe tell you if I would put new strings on it in a year or two. Well,
Right.
if you go that route, now you got a $500 bow, and I say, hey, listen, I mean, these are factory original strings. The bow is 5 years old, so I know the strings are 5 years old. I mean, they're good enough for us to shoot, but you probably want to get some new strings and cables on those next year. How much are those? Well,
Yeah.
$200, $250 in that area. Oh, so I'm gonna have a $500 bowl, put $750. I'm gonna have $750 into it in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should go look at a new one. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm giving you a
Right.
scenario.
And that's
Well,
if
what can
one
I get for
fits.
$9.99 for a new
Yeah.
bow that is mine? That I have the original. I have the warranty on that bow. I
Yeah.
know the strings are new, and you're going to fit it for me, and everything's going to be great. And I'm spending $250 more. Maybe I'll go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if
So
one fits. A lot of times there's just nothing on the used rack that fits. I mean, they're so unique. It's like, well,
right. And by
maybe
the
my kid
time,
is a
yeah,
string bean. He's got a 30-inch draw, but he's 12. He can't pull a 70-pound bow. Well, how many 30-50s are out there? Not many.
not very many. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's hard. And one of the things that's like with Bowtackle, like you could, I mean, I would bet it would be hard to not find a bow that would fit you on
Well,
Bowtackle right now.
even if the by design, you want to communicate. You want to get, for me, it might be dealing with somebody in Missouri or Mississippi. I want to give them the closest experience I can give them to a pro shop experience, but I
Yeah.
can't do it for them,
Yeah.
right? So I want them to be able to ask me a question. Can this bow do this? Can this bow do that?
Right.
But me as the dealer, I've took that bow on a trade. I've gone through that. It's only on this platform because it's a good bow. The price is fair.
Mm-hmm.
And you're buying it from a pro shop, which, I mean, honestly, that in itself should prompt people to feel very confident and comfortable with the system. I mean, eBay, you might be buying it from, user 112,000.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. He sold lawn furniture last week. Now he's selling a used bow. You want to get that. You want to get that pro shop experience to people in that used market.
Yeah. And give
Yeah.
them I mean, there's a lot. I'm on the site right now. I mean, there's incredible what's out there. I mean, tons of volume of bows. The inventory on used bows across all the dealerships you guys have turned on is great. But there's also like, hey, here's a hunting blind that we need to move. Here's some trail camera packs. Some Sitka gear.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can put your platform on it almost you could put your entire store on here if you wanted to, if you
Yeah.
wanted to do that.
How does that work with the manufacturers? Because I know bow companies are almost the worst I've ever experienced across any industry of like, nope, we already got a guy that's in your, U.S. district, so you're out. Like, we
Well,
can't put a dealership there. It's like, man, I mean, there's a reason why they all do it, I'm sure, but it
yeah.
definitely seems like it is like pulling teeth to get a bow dealership agreement with the
Well,
manufacturer.
for sure. I mean, first you want to kind of why. Well, most people they can't set their bow up. They don't want to set up their bow. They want to focus on shooting and having fun. People maybe go out west, they dabble in it. They want to learn how to tie their peep sights, or some people buy a
Right.
press. But the bottom line is that um, you got to have some technical expertise when it comes to setting a bow up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to have a guy that's been doing it, or a gal that's been doing it for years. They can help you hone your craft.
Right.
Well, when a manufacturer builds a product, I mean, they're building the best product that they can, and they know if that product gets into the hand of somebody that's unqualified, they will not only wreck the person, wreck the experience.
Yeah.
But people will come around and say, my bow shoots like garbage. But they don't realize that their bow's out of tune and it's out of whack, and you're pulling your release way up into your face, and you're hammering the trigger, and
Yeah.
so the bow manufacturers want somebody that they trust to build that bow for that person and give them the best possible experience, because it is almost never the bow's problem.
Right.
Or fault.
Unless something is broke and you got to get that fixed, and then it's back to,
then you bring it back to the person that you trusted to build it for you.
And in order to do that, you have to protect dealers, right? So if you had 12 Matthews dealers in your city, they're all going to go out of business because none of them are going to sell enough to.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you take that deep dive, right? And try to, why? Well, it's not because, they just decided to. It's because their business model
Needs it. Yeah.
figured that was, let's put it in the. I mean, look at all the brands that you can just go to buy at Cabela's.
Yeah.
Go into all the pro shops. Are those bows there? Yeah, very few of them are.
Yeah.
Right? There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but for the most part, the better product goes to the pro shops. The pro shops know which product is better.
Yeah.
Which
And
ones are they
so,
working on this?
so do the manufacturers, if it's a used bow, they're like, hey, we don't care where you sell used bows
100%.
online, but hey,
That's
the new ones, don't sell those online.
right. I mean, typically, if the model is a current version, the latest and greatest, or still in their catalog, they want to protect that product.
Okay.
So they don't want that product to be sold online. But there's
Which is
gonna be
also
a
not an
time-
issue. If you're buying the brand new Matthews Lift X33, like your bow shop's going to have 20 of those. Go pick one that fits you. That's
Right.
no issue to find one of those locally. But if you're like, hey, I would love to, but I'm a used bow guy right now. I need a used bow. Then you're
Right.
stuck with finding one that's available. And that's where I think Bowtackle for the listener side would be great, because then you can just see like everything that's out there. You can just, instead of looking at like the 5 on the rack on your pro shop, you can look at the 5 on the rack from every pro shop that's listed.
Right. And you're buying from a pro shop.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
I
a
mean,
random person.
I mean, right. I mean, that means a lot. I mean, it helps the pro shop, and it helps. And I mean, because our fees aren't as high as an eBay, but you're buying it from a pro shop. I mean, there's going to be, there's really not going to be much of a cost difference between there's not going to be much of a cost difference between an eBay bow and a bow pro shop bow.
Okay.
And it's just right. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
eBay is going to take a 15% cut
Mm-hmm.
of
How
it,
about
which,
on the? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
How
I'll
about
keep
on the
talking, so you
accessories?
got to do that.
How about on the
Okay.
accessory side? What is that? Is it a little bit trickier to find? So I'm kind of thinking like, it seems like there are so many unused components of archery out there. Like, hey, a guy started with a black gold 3-pin, and then he wanted to update to like the Garmin Zero or a HHA or a Hogfather. And so, but now he's got this old 3-pin. And I know,
Yeah.
like, if you brought in an old black diamond 3-pin to the dealership and been like, hey, you guys take this in on trade, they'll be like, dude, I don't have time for that shit.
Well, and some might. I mean, some might want to take it. I mean, it could,
It seems like
if I
Bowtackle would
get
be
$10
an option
it,
for them to
yeah.
start being like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, this is where on consignment, or like, hey, I got to sell it before I give you credit or something. But at least now he knows
Right.
there's a place where he can move it, because who's going to come to his bow shop and be like, hey, you know what? $30 for a new 3-pin is a little too steep. I want the $15 version, right? Like, no one. And so he's like, how long is that used sight going to sit on his own rack? But that's where I feel like if you are someone out there and you're like, I don't know, maybe you live in California, like we don't have bow shop. I think they do, but you're just like, I don't have a local bow shop, or my bow shop doesn't have any bows, and I'm looking for something specific. I feel like that could be one thing where this really opens up the doors and allows you to really find the accessories as well that you're looking for. Like, hey, I want a 3-pin HHA kingpin. They're not new anymore. I don't want the new one. The new one's too expensive. You know what I mean? Like something along those lines. I think
Right.
there's like, that would be a very cool additional like segment of Bowtackle, not just bows specifically, which there's a ton of.
Right. I mean, when we, I mean, we had. I mean, you have to start with bows, because bow's a driver, right? And we're gonna,
Yeah.
we're going into the archery. We're going to archery, and then the courses would say the road map would say, beginning of first quarter next year, start putting focus on fishing shops and
Yeah.
and fishing rod. I mean, same difference, right? Fishing rod. I love fishing. I got 3 daughters that break a rod every time we go out fishing. I just can't, but I want good stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't, and it's like, if I could find a used St. Croix rod or something, or Trica or something, where I'm like, if I get a good deal, if I can get something used that's in good shape, I'd do it. But you're right. They'll go, as dealers start getting on the platform, and especially in those 6, 7, 8 months of the year where you're not extremely busy, all of a sudden you start looking around and there's going to be lots and lots of nails, and you're the hammer, and you're just going to want to, load up, put this sight on here. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this rest,
Yeah.
good stuff. And maybe, next year you're outfitting an entire bow for $200 with pretty decent accessories,
Yeah.
but all coming from a pro shop.
Yeah.
You know?
So Perry, I want to ask you, so it sounds like you are a bow connoisseur. I buy, I sell. What's your thoughts on, so like the average guy or gal, they've got one bow probably, like the common segment, but then there comes a time where you upgrade your bow. And like Dan and I were talking, it might be every year for some people, and they're like, hey, I don't care, I'm going to take a hit. Same crowd that buys a new truck every year. Like I want to keep it new. I want to keep it, I don't want to get into warranty issues. I don't want to get into, retuning. It's like, I don't care. I work hard in life to have nice bows. Or that's like every 5 years, or it's me, it's like every 10, I went 10 years. So I missed out on all the sweet bows in the last 10 years until I got to the lift. What's your thought process on, like, do you sell the first bow, or do you keep it as a backup bow? I've kind of going back and forth with my Halon. Like, it's plenty capable. There's nothing wrong with it. I've shot many deer with it. It would be a fine backup bow to keep. And do I keep that one? And then when I get a new, do I always have like a 3-bow rotation? So I always have like a good bow, a backup bow, and then I sell and add, you know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because it sounds like you've probably thought about this.
Well, I mean, my first flagship bow was a Halon.
Yeah.
And I loved that bow. And ever since that year that I bought a Halon, I bought a bow every 2 years. So I've skipped a year, body bow.
Yeah.
So I had the Halon, then I had the Vertix, then I had a V3, then I had a Phase 4. Now I have a Lift X. So that's 5. I mean, yeah, I'm a Matthews guy. I mean, nothing against any other bow manufacturers. I've just kind of kept with Matthews, and I've always kept the previous year. So, like right now I have a Phase 4 for my backup bow, and I just sold my V3, few months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep a backup bow. I love I have a Garmin sight on my main whitetail setup, and then I just have a regular 5-pin on my backup bow. And I usually shoot my 5-pin like for the off season for like 3 or 4 months, and then when it comes to but I like to have that option just in case I go to a state where they don't allow the Garmin. I like to be still shooting with that 5-pin, just so I'm familiar with it. So yeah, I mean, but again, I'm one of those guys that, I mean, I know people that upgrade every year, and I would love to, I just can't really justify it, but I just love my bows, man. I mean, I think I told Dan one time at deer camp, I was like, if somebody told me you got to either get rid of your bows or get rid of your guitars, like it's a really hard decision. It would be a really hard decision for me now. And I've been go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to curious with like playing a guitar, and when I dabbled with it for like a semester in college, and I just did not give it the time it needed to give it to be good. Like I could play the 4-chord country song a little bit, but I wasn't good. So it wasn't enjoyable. I was still in the frustration phase. Right. But I'm guessing you are just like, man, this guitar's tuned and the fingers are flying today. And you know what I mean? Versus when you see that arrow just arc and it's spinning perfect, it's not flying like a duck and just sinks right into where you wanted it. What's the comparison and feeling?
It's very similar. I mean, shooting a bow it's like really primal, it's, and there is a spiritual depth to that practice because it's so ancient. And, playing guitar is more of the etheric kind of vibe, but it's like, it's a very, I try to play my guitar every day, and I try to shoot my bow every day. It's like, those are my things. I mean, literally I have in my porch out there, I have my guitar and I have my bow. Like they're always with me. They're in my car. So they're very much intertwined in terms of my discipline, like my everyday discipline. I kind of see them as one thing, which is weird because they're very different, but they're very much, it gives me the same kind of feeling.
I feel like they would both, I don't know about the guitar, but I do know about the bow, but it seems like they're both very therapeutic as well.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Meditative.
Ted Nugent cannot be wrong.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
He'd be like your idol, Perry, playing guitar and shooting bows. Like, sign me up for that gig.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm Ted Nugent. Who doesn't love Ted Nugent? That's a bow hunter. But but I don't go like, I like his music.
He's never played the guitar at deer camp ever.
What?
No, I haven't.
He
No,
never
that's
has.
true. That's true.
We have a guy in our elk hunting crew. His name's Jared. Very good guitar player. Used to be one of the better cover bands in the eastern North Dakota area, like college bars, cover bands. I mean, phenomenal guitar player. And he doesn't do a lot of stuff anymore publicly, but still privately plays guitar and brings his guitar to elk camp. And usually after about the 7th day, like, you know, we could go out for a couple hours in the morning, but then we'd have to break down camp and leave. And it's usually like, we've had a good week. Let's just make a bonfire and sing guitar songs until 4 a.m. And so he breaks out the guitar, and it's like any song. He'll be like, yeah, okay, I can do it. And then just starts playing any song. Dave Matthews, Garth Brooks. I mean, the whole spectrum of anything guitar related or not guitar related. He'll just like do it anyway. I mean,
I've always been an original music. I know like probably 4 or 5 covers, but all my career being an amateur musician has all been original. So
sweet to bring it to elk camp. It just, you don't get as much sing along, but
no, you don't get any sing along. That's the problem.
Until you play it 3 or 4 times. But by the end of the camp, no, that's crazy. I was going to ask you how much of your hunting, Perry, involves like local, like from home and back. We're going out for a sit back at home tonight versus deer camp, elk camp, whatever, out of state, out of town. That you're like, oh, I'm going to actually bring the phase 4 for this hunt.
Once I upgrade to the, the newest bow, I just use that for my main rig all throughout the season. I basically just use my backup for if something happens.
So if you go out of town, like if you're going to go, say, deer camp in Iowa, do you bring the phase 4 with you and just leave it in the truck all week?
Yeah, I'll bring it. Yeah, definitely bring it. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking with a backup bow too, is like you just have it, like peace of mind. Like if something goes wrong, if a peep falls out, I mean, for you guys, very simple fix. You'd probably fix that, riding shotgun in the pickup. But for the average guy out in the mountains, it's like if your peep falls out and you don't know how to fix that, it's like you could fix it, like, but it's going to take you a whole day of your hunt. You're going to have to drive back to town, find the local bow shop, bring it in. They'll put a peep in, but you're out of the game for a day. Versus if you've got a phase 4, you're like, oh, peep fell out, like no big deal. Or a D loop, it's like, I could tie one tonight at camp, but I'm just going to go to bed and grab my phase 4 in the morning instead.
Yeah, well, it's Murphy's Law. You don't bring it, something's going to break. Something's going to break on your. If you bring it, nothing's going to happen to your main bow. Right?
Yeah.
It's like one of those laws of anything. Like if I don't have my second guitar on stage, I'm gonna break a string. If I have it there, I'll never break a string. It's weird how that happens. I don't know exactly how that works, but I just the other thing too is that it, like my buddy Brett and I, who's also involved with Bowtackle, we've gone to Texas the last couple of years, and he's like, you got your phase 4, and I'll be like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. We got one backup bow. Like we'll just share the backup bow between us, and we're similar draw lengths, so
I've shot a deer with my brother's bow, and we are not similar draw lengths. He's
Yeah.
he's 3 inches shorter than I am, and I was like, my bow was tied up, and it was just an evening whitetail sit at home, but I shot it 3 times. I'm like, okay, it seems like it's best if I just bend my arm and get my same anchor point versus straightening my arm and having my hand float. And so I just did that, and I'm shooting. Folks can't see it on the camera, but with just a super bent arm, and doe walked out 28 yards, just schwack. I was like, well, that worked.
Well, both Levi Morgan and Chris B did a separate videos recently about, like, Levi Morgan set up a bow that was just completely out of tune. Did you see that?
I
And
did not.
of course, he was shooting X's out of it, but he tuned it as bad as he possibly could, and he was shooting X's out of it because he just adjusted what he was doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a master, but same with Chris B. Like, took somebody else's bow off the wall and on the ultra view thing and shot an X right out of the gate because he's like, it doesn't, as long as your scope and your peep housing is lined up, and it's, it doesn't matter. Like, people get so obsessed about every little thing, but
it certainly helps to have
it helps,
everything
yeah.
in tune, but what helps the most is doing it the same way every time, not flinching, not punching the trigger, having enough strength and stamina to try to hold your arm still, and just doing the exact same thing. And you're like, oh, I'm 3 inches off. Okay, we'll just move that over 3 inches, and now we're good again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like that first time you don't sell your bow, your main bow, when you upgrade, is probably the hardest one because you got to, front a whole new bow and a whole new setup, not just the bow, unless you're going to take all your stuff off the old one and put it on the new one, which kind of seems to me like it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit to have a backup bow that you have to take like your sight off and everything and then re-sight in. It's like, well, that's a lot of work too. But after that, is it pretty, now it's like, this is the rhythm, and now it's easy. Like, I just keep one, sell one.
That's my rhythm. And of course, I would never, yes, I have a press, and yes, I can probably I can tie a D loop and maybe a peep, but basically Dan's guys do everything for me. They set up my bows. I trust Brian and Grant and Travis and all those guys to get me like 90% of the way there before I even walk out of the shop. So,
yeah, that's interesting. We're doing a full bonus series on the podcast with the Matthews partnership on start to finish building and tuning a bow to whatever degree possible from home. And it's like, part of it was because I wanted to just like force myself to learn all these things because I'd forgotten. Like, I haven't touched a tuning aspect of my Halon since the day I bought it. It's like, it still shoots good enough to kill elk, and that's what this is meant to do. And it's probably out of tune. It's had 3 strings on it. I mean, there's a lot of things that probably aren't right anymore, and I just kind of have been lazy. And so I'm like, I want to teach myself, but then also, like, the number of people that I ask, like, or get asked from, of like, hey, what's the whole third axis tuning thing about? And I'm like, I don't really know, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I got to learn those things, but then help everyone else, because it's now I do know, obviously, and it's like, it's not that hard, especially with the new gear that's made to tune those things. But just walking through, like, here's how you do your third axis and second axis tuning. Like, here's how you French tune a bow. Here's what your paper tune means, and say like, oh, it tore this way. Here's a couple things we can check. It tore that way. Here's what we're going to check. Here's how we set a dial sight. Here's how we do a walk back test. All these different things that you can all do those from home. Here's how you tie a D loop. How many people don't know how to tie a D loop? Here's something you can do if you have an issue in the woods. Your string falls off. You get a piece of bark in your cam and you shoot and it de-strings you. I mean, if your bow doesn't break, like, here's something you can do. Here's a way you can get, like, you can stand on your bow, pull it up, put a stick between your cam. It's probably not the best, but you can get some tension off your string if you need to put a peep back in.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try to do with the whole series, because I think it is a forgotten art, really.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, would you have a little time to just have us tell you a little bit, like, sort of like some aspects about Bowtackle that maybe not as clear if you haven't gone through all of our social media and stuff like that?
Oh, 100%. Let's dive into it. So we talked bow hunting. We talked what's there, but, like, let's hear those things. Let's hear from the behind the scenes, or, like, let's take a deep dive into it.
I was thinking, Dan, maybe you could talk about two things. One, like the iframe and the marketplace. So Shopify, eBay killer, basically, and also the innovators, insiders, and shops aspect. So, because, if people do, especially like you, Brian, I mean, like if you wanted to get on as an insider, you could. And maybe Dan can explain that because there might be some other insiders listening
Sure.
to this podcast that might want to have their own shop on Bowtackle. So,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about the iframe. We call it the Bowtackle Edge technology, where basically your store inside Bowtackle, you've created your shop, you've created the store, you've got product, you got listings on there. But now what you can do is connect that via iframe to your website. So if you actually go to like a1archery.com, and you'll see we have a banner up there. It says visit our Bowtackle store, and you click on that, and that will bring your store inside Bowtackle to your website. So basically what you're doing from there is you have people visiting your website to, see your store hours. They want to check out, maybe they want to see what you carry. And then now you have e-commerce on your platform. And that's, so now you have your store inside Bowtackle, but now you have it connected to your website. So now you have e-commerce on there.
Let's dive into that one thing real quick.
Yep.
So are you talking about, for people that maybe are like not e-commerce experts, like a lot of bow shops have a website that has their hours, their range details, maybe the brands they carry, but they generally don't list, a lot of them don't list product. Like there's nothing you can buy from their website. You're saying like the iframe network allows you to start selling your sights, your stabilizers, your stuff. If you put it up there and connect it on your website, it kind of turns your shop into like a Shopify, for example.
100%.
Okay.
So what we're doing is it's $50 a month for that feature.
Okay.
Right. So for $50 a month, you have e-commerce on your website, versus the alternative, which is hours and hours and hours of building a website, an e-commerce platform, a Shopify account. They start at, build a website, e-commerce. You can have $5,000 to $10,000 wrapped up into that. Plus, if you're going to sell stuff on there, you have to stock the stuff. So if you just did a blanket, I'm going to sell a QAD rest, we'll say, and now you got to stock the right-handed, the left-handed. You have to keep that inventory up to date. On the Bowtackle platform, you kind of you can look at maybe what you have a lot of or what you have enough of, and you can put that on the platform. Where the like the Shopify stuff, I mean, you're talking about a fairly large capital investment and time and labor to get a platform up and going. And then once you get the Shopify account up and going, and maybe you've got all the inventory listed out, you've got everything that you need, you've invested in it. Well, I can promise you, we all realize that just because you build it does not mean they come.
Yeah, Kevin Costner lied to us on that one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Liar. Right. So now you have to invest in marketing. You got to invest in social media. You have to invest in time and effort just to get people to come to your site to buy a product. So what really Bowtackle is doing is it's monetizing your current traffic to your website in a way, right? Yeah. It's saying, hey, I have, I've got these used bows. I'm overstocked on these arrows. I have this used rest, or I have a lot of these QAD rests or something. And, people see that, they visit your website, want to see what time you're open until, and they see the product that you have. Cool. I'm going to go check this out. Or maybe they're 2 hours away and they see a used bow. They're doing some research. They visit your website because their buddy said this is a really nice place. And they like, oh my gosh, look at that. There's a used halon on there. I'm going to come and check it out. That's real stuff that happens for me on a daily basis.
Sure.
And so that is the iframe edge technology that we've built for on Bowtackle.
So if to leverage that, a shop would have to say, hey, we're going to sell stuff on Bowtackle, but when we do that, all we have to do is basically click a button, and we can also sell it on our native website as well.
Yeah, we actually, that $50 a month, I mean, there's actually a upfront cost for us.
Yeah.
Because we have to have developers,
work on the integration.
Because they got to work on all these different website platforms that are out there. They got to make sure it fits.
Yeah.
And so there's an upfront cost to us for that. But I mean, it's a good investment. It's a good investment for us to get people on the platform. Dealers have lots of inventory, so there's never, if you took all the dealers that are out there in archery and fishing, they have more inventory than anybody else. And they're also sitting on stuff they need to get rid of, which, would probably equal a pretty good deal for a buyer.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything, Perry?
So I just wanted to mention a couple of things. So just so we're clear, when you get an iframe for your retail shop and you click on that banner that goes to your products, it's only your products. You can't search the rest of Bowtackle for other stuff. And two, one of the things that, if there's anybody that out there saying, well, I don't want to pay $50 a month. Well, okay, so you're on eBay, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just stick with eBay. Okay, fine. But when you're communicating with a buyer on eBay and you try to get their phone number or their email address to actually talk to them about a module or a draw link thing or whatever, you just want to communicate with them directly, eBay will kick you off the platform just for trying to get their email address and their phone number. We have complete transparency with your sellers. We don't care. We don't care whether you sell it in the store and pay us nothing. We want you to sell bows. We don't want to limit your ability to sell that bow wherever you sell it. So just imagine that $50 is sort of, yes, it's a technology fee, but it's also a fee that you're paying to get transparency with your customer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the eBay thing sounds like a fiat, like just a nightmare, really. If you're one person selling one thing, yeah, sure, eBay is a decent place for a private citizen to sell something. But if you're a business and you're trying to conduct sales at scale and you're trying to navigate eBay to get details and specs and like, hey, did you want this at 60 pounds or I mean, oh my gosh, does that sound like a headache? So yeah, that makes a lot of sense of like the value, and I'm sure it doesn't take long. You guys probably know this for sure, but the difference in just like what eBay is going to scalp from you will make up that $50 really fast if you're actually selling used bows.
One bow purchase, right?
Yeah.
One bow purchase. Yeah. So good points, Perry. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
But as far as who can sell on the platform, we verify everybody, so you just can't go on there, right?
Yeah.
You have to, there's an application that has to be filled out. We need to verify you're a real person, or I'm not going to say a business, or we need to verify that. A lot of scams out there, a lot of terrible stuff. And a lot of people get scammed, especially on the Facebook marketplaces, but basically industry insiders. So an insider would be a known host of a podcast. We'll say would be somebody if in the outdoor space. You have a reputation that you care about, that you will defend, right? That if you sold something, you're going to make it right for that person. Those are the people that we want on the platform. So there's sales reps. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of them. Sales reps. But the one that I really, the other entity that can sell on the platform are what we would call innovators, and those are, I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there that have just a little product. Maybe they have an idea, but they don't really have a place to put it. Maybe they put it on eBay. Maybe they have a little social presence, but we want them to be able to have a platform where they can sell their 1 to 10 SKUs, right? Some variations for different bows or different rods, and and
Yeah.
and give them a place to sell it. So we call them the innovators.
Yeah.
Every company out there started with an innovator,
You're almost
and
like talking about like a digital incubator tech center. Like,
yeah,
here's a
yeah,
building, and some angel investor is going to buy the building, and then each unit is like this little entrepreneur that's trying to make his way in the American dream. The one that jumps to my mind is Baker Archery Products. The green bow vices. I don't know if you've seen them, Dan.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah,
Direct to consumer style, like it's like, hey, this
yeah,
is not the full on micro dial adjust bow shop vice that you're going to want if you do this 12 times a day. But if you're the guy that like you're taking the first steps in trying to do some of your own stuff and you just
you
need a
want to,
vice, he's
yeah,
like, and that guy, he's like, he's selling them on his own website, sure, but it's like, how do you get the visibility? How do you get out there? And so that one is like, it seems to me like a perfect example of the innovator.
yeah, and that's I have a local person here that has a box blind defrost. So
Oh,
he
cool.
has it patented. He has
Yeah.
it, and he has work. It works. I actually sell them in the store here. But basically, you get your lithium battery, you hook it up, and it's magnetic. So it's basically a probably like a 10-inch or 12-inch rod, and you put it on your window of your box blind. And they one on the
It just
outside, one on the inside, and they
conductively
snap
heats it.
together, and
Yeah.
then it defrosts the view. So you can have all your windows defrosted, and you can take them and move them, and you can hook them up in parallel and have 3-4 different windows. So you get,
Yeah.
he took a problem that he has, and he
That
talked to
certainly
people.
sounds like someone that missed a booner because there was frosty windows.
Right? I mean, right? The missing a big buck is the mother of all inventions in archery, right? I mean,
Right. Yeah.
so it's kind of like, so he's on the platform on Bowtackle. So I mean, to give them a place for that. So basically, outdoor businesses, uh, innovators, and guys like you, insiders.
Insider. Yeah.
Insiders. We want to give a place, and we just want you to have a reputation that you care about, and you'll do right by the customer.
Yeah,
If
I
there's
mean,
a
what you
problem.
don't want, and I think like Joe Rogan kind of explains this well when he's like, stay out of the comment section because they're all fake. Like, you see a comment and it's just spewing something, and then you look at it and it says user 1765779, and you're like, oh well, who's that? Like, who cares
Right.
if that's a real person? They don't even have enough like whatever it is self regard to like put their own name on what they're saying. And like that's the last thing you want on Bowtackle. User 17779 is selling a
Right.
Lift X for $50 and right, and it's like, yeah, pay me, here's my Venmo, send it to me and I'll put it in the mail for you. Don't you worry. Right? Obviously clear scam. You're like, hey, no, this is seller is Brian Krebs, and you can like Google it. You're
Check
gonna
them
come
out. Google
you're
them.
gonna come up
Right.
with the guy that's in cybersecurity, because his name is Brian Krebs too, and he puts a lot more content on the internet. But then you're going to find me. There's two of us, and one of us is selling a bow. But either way, we're both very public people.
Right. And
Yeah,
and that's the genesis of it all, right
yeah,
there.
that's interesting. I definitely know of a. We used to run we still run the TWOBUCKS podcast, but it used to be pretty solely focused on entrepreneurship in the outdoor space. And now we're kind of bringing it over. I'm kind of just like taking it more as a passion project on habitat, still on entrepreneurship because it's still a part of who I am. Homestead stuff, food plot projects, but we have talked to an incredible amount of what you would describe as an innovator for Bowtackle, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just the mind is rolling of like who could potentially be like good fits, and
Right.
so I'll have to send you guys an email on that after the podcast because there's literally hundreds of innovators that we've talked to on the TWOBUCKS channel.
Yeah. Well, I started with a passion. I mean, passion for the outdoors, passion for archery, and you try to make a living at it the
Yeah,
best you can.
yeah. Well, one of the cool things, I don't see them on your website, but my local shop, Full Draw Archery here in Stacy, Minnesota, um, they do a bow league every year, and 3D League, Target League, and then Techno League. Super cool shop. It's not the biggest shop, but it's one of the coolest shops, family friendly. Um, like a lot of good shops are. It's not the I don't want to throw the shade on anyone, but sometimes you go to like the one, I can't remember, it's in Elk River. It's massive, and you go in there and it's like you feel like you're at Cabela's, and like everyone's busy and it's hard to find the person to help, and they're trying their best, no doubt. It's just like it's a big box store almost. And when you walk into like these little shops, you're like, hey Kevin, what's up? And he's like, oh hey Brian, how's it going today, what you need? That's the kind of vibe. And they run this league, and one of the things that I think is cool, it's like it's a league that you have to pay for. At the end they have a banquet where they have a huge general raffle that's free admission if you shot league. And the league is not crazy price. It works out to like $12 or $15 a night. I mean, really reasonable league prices, but they just bring all of the old stuff off their shelves and just give it away as a door prize on their general raffle. Like hundreds of things. My wife last year won a bow. We won strings. This year I won a trail camera and another string. I mean, that's one. They're like, hey, we got all this old product and we have this banquet, and it's like, let's just like find a way that's basically cost neutral to move this old stuff that's not going.
Well, so I've been to Full Draw, and
Yeah.
I pitched them Bowtackle, and I've been on the phone with the owner a couple times. And basically right now it's just kind of an open door. You know, like a lot
Yeah.
of owners, they're like, I got a lot of irons in the fire. I got a lot going on. It looks really
Yeah.
interesting. So if you're ever up there, just tell them they
I'm
should
out there all the
sign
time.
up.
Yeah, no, but that
Yeah.
like they've had the same problem. Like things sit on the shelf when you run a
Oh, I know.
small independent shop, and they're like, and that was just one way they're like, hey, let's get some way to move this. I think this is another great way that they could probably do both, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny because when I was there, I went up and I just shot their range, for a half an hour. And while I was there, one of the managers was taking pictures of like about 6 different used bows, like
Yeah.
putting them up on eBay, like while I was sitting there. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I had good timing, So I was kind of hoping to close the deal on that one, but I think he's thinking about it. I mean,
It's
eventually everybody's got to be on bow tackle. Hopefully
right.
that's the way we force their hand. Like, you can't live without us. So
Yeah, that would be great. Just more options to help support local shops. And
yeah,
while we were talking, I was wondering, like, I feel like the flagship bows and the guns, the new ones, like, yeah, those will never, like, the manufacturer rules and restrictions, you're not going to get that. Are there any restrictions on the pegboard product, the wall hangers? I'm thinking sights, releases, stabilizers, vanes, components,
For the most
glue.
part, uh, there's, I mean, there's going to be restrictions on 10% out there. I mean, you're just like a manufacturer of a bow, a manufacturer of a site takes that same pride
So
in
like
in
Spot
their
Hog or
company.
like the
Yeah,
top
I mean,
sites are probably
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah,
you can't.
they're 100%. They're
Okay.
gonna want their product protected, and I mean the value of your product is what someone will pay for it,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
So
and you know, I could tell you. I mean, I'm not, I'm going to tell you there's like 80% of the people that come in and buy a brand new site don't know how to operate it, right? And you
yeah.
could have the instructions there, but and they'll go through it and they'll have hours into it, and they make one miscalculation and they're 20 to 60 and whatever, it's
Yeah.
off, and I mean, so even when those higher end sites, you have to, you really want help, and
Yeah.
that's why they want to have that purchase at a pro shop. But it's not that a pro shop is there's no dealership to a site, right? It really comes down to that minimum advertised pricing.
Yeah.
I mean to be, if and that's to protect the dealers, yes. To Because I mean, what would be stopping somebody from buying 300 of the nicest, hardest to get sites? They get an order in, and then they rip them out for $50 over cost, and now they destroyed my business. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what would be what I mean? What would stop someone from doing that?
Right.
So you got they want their product protected. I want their product protected, but a minimum advertised price doesn't mean that I can't sell it less. I mean, there's products that we have in here that we may have under minimum advertised price, but I just can't advertise. I can't do a Facebook post. I can't send out a newsletter. I can't take out an ad
Right.
in
You're
a
just saying like,
paper.
hey, this one's been on the shelf too long. We're going to mark it down, put
Right.
it on
I'm going to mark
sale.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I'll wait for someone to come in here. But they just don't want you to drive the business based off of price.
Sure. Yeah. No, it sounds like super cool idea to kind of connect and collaborate and offer another potential resource for bow shops. But for me, and I'm obviously not the bow shop, so I'm thinking of more of like on the consumer side, like for anyone that's looking for a used bow, for sure, it's the like one of the best places to go find a lot of them. I mean, there's I think 8 pages right now of bows, 6 pages of bows. Like you're gonna find one that will fit you in your price range. There's everything from Hoyt Alpha X's to, Bowtech Stalker Light, 40-pound bow for a youngster at $100 that I'm seeing on the website. And it's like, okay, now I know what shop to go to. Like I could spend all weekend just touring shops looking for, it's like, oh, nope, this one right here. It looks like it's at, uh, I can't, I got to click on it, but, yeah, right here, you're looking at it's from, Al's.
Well, that's actually Al from A1 Archery.
Yeah. Oh, Al from A1
Yeah,
Archery.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
that's
Oh, I didn't scroll
yeah,
down far enough. A1
yeah,
Archery.
yeah,
Al
yeah,
Escobedo was the guy that put it up, and yeah, A1 Archery. So it's like, okay, now I know. I'm just gonna go over to Hudson Quick on Saturday morning. They got it in stock. It's the right size, and they're gonna set it up for me. I know where to go. I'm not gonna waste 8 hours to go into every local bow shop looking for I don't know, a left-handed 40-pound, 25-inch draw length. I mean, well, good Lord, the adventure you would go on to find that bow. It would be a long journey.
right.
So, yeah, no, I think it's really cool from the consumer perspective as well.
Did we touch on everything, Perry? Did I miss anything? I'm sure.
Well, I think thank you so much for having us on the podcast because we want to do more of these. And
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it just stems from a passion for archery and bow hunting and just being outdoors. And, yeah, it's lovely to make some money and, have, a business, but, this really stems from like just being in deer camp with
yeah,
people and just like wanting to, there are a few, places where, like, bowhunting.com and, even Lancaster, but we'd really like to have, a community and we're going to build that and we're going to do more podcasts and we're going to talk hunting and equipment and just get good, used equipment into people's hands. I mean, when I bought my first bow, I figured I should buy a used bow. I figured I didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I wanted to get something good.
yeah,
So I figured something that was 2 or 3 years old, and yeah, did I end up going to a shop and getting it tuned and everything and paying another couple $100? I mean, I kind of learned my lesson that way, but now that I kind of know more and I'm a little bit down the road, I could go on Bowtackle and find a bow that fit me, that was a good quality
yeah,
product, like the flagship bows, especially nowadays with so many people buying them every year, every couple of years. There's a lot of them out there, that are 2 or 3 years old that are in perfect condition, really good condition. And that's what we're really like. That's our focus, is capitalize on those bows right now and those products that so like anybody can just come and find, like you were saying, find what they want and at a good price.
yeah. And you're not like you don't have to bring backup to meet this dude at the gas station off Facebook Market. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it takes the anxiety and the awkwardness out of the equation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just shortening the search. Like, I know what I need. My kid is, he's this tall. I mean, every bow hunter, once you get a bow, you kind of figure out how to figure out your draw length to a close degree, right? You're like, oh, you go to this website, you measure your wingspan, they do some math. I need a 27-inch bow for this guy, this kid, my son, right? And he's, he can't, we need a 40. It's his first bow. He wants to hunt. We need to hit like the legal limit. And you know what I mean? Like, you kind of know what you want if you've been at all around archery. Now it's just about finding it. Like, I'm not going to buy this kid an Hoyt RX9 carbon. Like, he's 12. He's going to grow out of it before he gets to hunting season anyway. Like, I got to be reasonable. Now I know exactly where to go. I go to A1 Archery. They've got this perfect used bow listed right now. We're good to go. We can rock and roll. And he can, start slinging arrows into the swamp, missing the target, this afternoon. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Dan and Perry.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you guys. Like I said, next time we're just going to have to do it at A1 because you're so darn close. But I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. And thank you for